When you feel like you're nothing, but you wanna be something, yeah. Well, all you really need is hope. I just want you to trust me if you wanna be something.
That's right. Let's go. Yeah, when you're feeling down and you're out, like you got nothing but doubt, you're alone in the crowd, just trying to figure it out. All that is bad, and this money got you feeling left out. Listen up to me now, every word that's out of my mouth. Wake up, it's me, you're gonna follow your dreams, or are you just gonna be another cog in the scene? You feel the hope in this beat, yeah, the hope that you need to proceed and be exactly what you want it to be. I feel right, and I'm proud, hype and I'm loud, I'ma shout all about how I feel in the now. Ain't nobody ever gonna try to change me, till I'm dead pushing up daisies. I'm alone in the crowd, I won't feel down. I got hope right now, and I know I'll be found. I don't really care just what all other haters gotta say. I know everything I do is gonna make them fade away,
And when you feel like you're nothing, but you wanna be something, yeah. Well, all you really need is hope. I just want you to trust me if you wanna be something, yeah. Then all you really need is hope.
Let's go, it's what you need when you're down, need when you're out. It's what you need when you're sad and when you feel left out. You feel an energy drought and then creeps out, but with a little bit of hope you can figure it out. Keep your head high even when you're down inside. Through the pain you fight and through the painful nights you keep striving, keep trying, keep driving, rising, keep thriving, surviving. Nothing's in your way but yourself, don't need nobody's help. You can make it through this hell, take it one step at a time, one step as you climb. If you fail you'll be fine, get back up to the grind and never lose sight of your mission. Be driven, this life is a prison if you don't have vision. You're in it to win it, so get it, don't miss it. Your chances now, so be something somehow. Don't let yourself down. That's right. Sometimes all we really need is hope.
Hey everyone, good morning. How are you guys? Hi in the bushes. Hi Avery. Hi BC. Hi Fly Girl. Good morning, Roberta. Hi Momo Shark. Hi Victoria. All the things happening in these cases lately, you guys. There's actually a couple things that I want to touch on even before I jump into Sebastian and Stephan Stern's being charged with murder yesterday. I thought one of the key things that they said during that press conference, though, is that the investigation is still ongoing. Even though they have murder charges now, I don't know if they are still looking to trump him with more charges or if they're trying. I don't know if he shared those images with anybody and maybe they're trying to continue to investigate where those images could have been shared. Or I don't know if the investigation is still into Jen Soto. They still have not said that she has been cleared in all of this. And a lot of people are raising suspicions, but we'll talk about that more in a little bit. Outside of that, we are now seeing Elijah Vu. His mom is still missing. He went missing not too long before Sebastian did, and his mom is now requesting to really be released from jail. She wants out on bail on her own recognizance, and I thought that was freaking mind blowing. Because like the audacity, I guess just the audacity of these parents while they have missing kids to be like, hey, just let me live at my house still, right? I just want to go home. So mother of missing child Elijah Vu requested a bond change, and she is currently on $15,000 cash bond, and she wants a personal recognizance bond, which would allow her to be released without paying the bond, and just going out on the promise that she'll come back. I'm sure, right? I promise I'll be back. Promise. Elijah Vu, 3 years old, was reported missing from Two Rivers on February 20th. Police arrested his mother and his mother's boyfriend, Jesse Vang. If you guys remember, this is the horrific case where she sent Elijah to go stay with Jesse so that Jesse could teach the 3-year-old how to be a man. And so that case is still ongoing. They're still searching for this baby. Here's a picture of him. Let's pull this up. still searching for him, still no indications of what could have happened to poor little Elijah. His family, his extended family is absolutely freaking devastated, still looking for answers in his case. And meanwhile, you have this mom who wants what, no accountability for the fact that she sent a 3-year-old to learn how to be a man. They would make him stand in the corner for hours at a time praying and asking for forgiveness and different things like that at 3 years old, was not allowed to play with a toy for at least a week, wasn't being fed properly, wasn't being taken care of. They took pictures of him with bruises on his body, and she did nothing, absolutely nothing to stop any of it. Just freaking heartbreaking. His grandma came out a couple hours ago also and did an interview. So I'm gonna share this with you guys too. And I promise we'll get into all the other cases. So it says grandmother of missing 3-year-old Elijah speaks out. Well, let's see if it's gonna be a video or if it's gonna be just a commercial. If not, I'll read it, but I'm pretty sure it's a video. No, not a video. Okay. So it says Two Rivers, the grandmother of Elijah Vu spoke out for the first time. It's been 2 months since the 3-year-old was last seen in Two Rivers and Manitowoc County. Jody Burrows spoke with our Milwaukee affiliate. She says the day the Amber Alert about Elijah went out is burned into her memory, and what stuck out is how her daughter reacted. It was the mama bear anger and instinct and the hysteria that was missing. It just hit me wrong. Elijah was staying with Katrina's boyfriend, Jesse Vang, when he disappeared. Vang told police that when he woke up from a nap on February 20th that the little boy was gone. Vang and Katrina are both charged with child neglect, and Elijah is still missing. She said, please keep looking for him because somebody is going to find something. Authorities have brought in drone teams to search wooded areas and sonar teams to search nearby waterways, but have not had any luck yet in finding Elijah. So, I just couldn't imagine being a grandparent in this situation. A grandparent who cares, right? You know, the other side of the family is out there. They're organizing search parties and things like that. She obviously does not live right in the area. And so she is doing her part, speaking out, calling out her daughter for not reacting right. She knows her daughter's involved it's in this in some way, shape, or form. This is how extended family should act. Notice none of the extended family in this case went to Alaska. None of them took a vacation. Again, going out of going out of going out of town or anything like that. So, good morning, Chica. Good to see you. So let's see. So let's jump into. Do you guys want to talk about Madeline Soto first or Sebastian Rogers? I'm curious. Which way do you want to go? Also devastating that he went to heaven with Quentin Simon in much of the same manner and it wasn't prevented. Right? So we don't know, right? We don't know that Elijah is deceased. But I will say that it does not look good. They have searched landfills, they're searching waterways, they found his blanket, they found a shoe that is similar to the shoe that was identified in the cases and things like that. And it's just I don't know, it's just devastating. I did, yes. So I'm waiting for Locomai for this. We were gonna talk about this last night, and Locomai was not feeling well, and so Locomai has been covering the Kansas City moms in depth on her channel, and, going through that case day after day, whenever she's been coming live and things like that, and so I'm waiting for her to talk about the 5th arrest in the Kansas City moms case. Okay, Sebastian. Okay, so you guys wanna go with Sebastian first. So let me pull up Vinny. So last night, Seth was on with Vinny. He called into the or he, did an interview with Vinny on the show. And one of one of the things that we've heard in the last couple of days, and we kind of talked about this yesterday, was that, or the day before, was it yesterday or the day before? I don't know. We talked about it one of these days recently about how Chris and Seth are allegedly supposed to be working as a united front now. And so they're supposed to be working together. And then almost immediately after, we looked at the Peter Hyatt interview, because well, not really an interview. He just had Seth on panel. And Seth had mentioned that he's been watching Peter since the beginning. He believes him with the stuff that he's saying. And to me, it wasn't a together type stream, right? Because he knew what Peter was going to say. He knew that Peter Hyatt was going to be attacking Katie, accusing Katie of hiding something, having some type of malicious intent, or malicious thing that happened to Sebastian, whether it was foul play, whether she locked him outside, whatever happened, right? Something happened in Peter Hyatt's opinion. And so Seth went from this buddy conversation allegedly with Chris, where they're all going to work together. They're going to put their egos aside. They're just going to team up now, and they're going to be together as a family. And then immediately the next morning went on Pascal, and he went on Peter Hyatt. And in both of those situations, he did throw a little shade towards Chris and Katie. He was not this united front that you would expect to see, in my opinion, for somebody who's saying, hey, we're going to be united now. And that's just my opinion, I guess, right? But then yesterday he goes on with Vinny, and I don't know how many of you guys have seen this, but last night he says on Vinny, he's like, I'm waiting for Chris's approval on things. And I'm like, I don't know. Let's listen to it. You guys can hear what you're going to hear. This is something I wanted to show you guys too, though. There is this flyer going around, Light the Path for Sebastian. It's April 26th at 7:30 p.m. It says the bridge will be lit up in Sebastian's favorite color, green, where we will share 2 minutes and 26 seconds of silence, mirroring the duration and the date of his disappearance. Standing together in silent prayers, and hope to hear words in the guidance of and strength demonstrate the solidarity of our community, and to ask God to lead us to Sebastian. So that's going to take place at 151 East Main Street in Hendersonville. So if you are local and you want to attend that, that'll be tomorrow evening at 7:30 p.m. Just a quick gathering where they're going to light up the bridge for Sebastian.
Street, the bridge will be lit up in Sebastian's favorite color, which is green. And joining us right now, special guest, Sebastian's dad, Seth Rogers, is back with us. Seth, thanks for coming on tonight. Let's start with what we're looking at here, Light the Path. Give us a little more information about it, what it's about, and I want to know why green was or is Sebastian's favorite color.
He just likes green. It's been his favorite color for as long as, one of the first things, conversations is like, what's your favorite color? And he chose green, and has stuck with it. So for the last, 12 years, it's always been green with him. So hopefully we can light the path in green, and they wouldn't let me get a Batman signal. So or just go ahead and use glow sticks and light bags. And
first of all, how cool would it have been if they were able to get a bat signal? That would have been awesome. Yeah, the whole case is weird. It really is. I know he hasn't waited for approval any other time. He's just done what he has to do. And so now all of the sudden he has to wait for approval. And listen, there's a couple of different ways that I think that we can take his sentence. But let me let you guys hear it first.
It'll be 2 months.
2 months. That's 2 months is too long. I mean, two hours is too long to have a child missing. Another announcement that I saw you made is that you are now working with Chris and Katie. Chris is stepfather, and Katie his mom. So all of you are now putting aside your differences and working together?
Chris approached me at the vigil last weekend and asked if, we could drop our egos and work together to find Sebastian. And I told him as long as he's willing to help, I'll take any of the help I can get. My ego is not enough to stop me from accepting help to try to find my son.
And how is that developed? Is the help there from Chris and Katie?
I've been sending Chris and Katie emails for things that I already have in the works. I'm currently waiting on Chris to approve what I've sent to him.
So, like, even just the way that he says approve doesn't sound very, like, I don't know the word that I'm trying to think of, but it didn't sound very friendly to me. Just the way he says the word approve, like, I'm just waiting for him to approve. Like, I don't know. And I'm probably reading way too much into it. I don't know. And then if you're really working together that much, why are you communicating by email? Why don't you just call and text each other? Why isn't there just an open flow of conversation? And again, we go to this situation where Chris Proudfoot is now put back in control of this situation. Why wouldn't the decisions be made between Seth and Katie? Chris is the stepfather in this situation. And so the thought process of making the stepdad have to approve whatever he has in the works, it doesn't seem like there's ever a conversation between him and Katie. It's always between him and Chris. It just bothers the heck out of me because what? So he has to put his ego aside and let Chris take control of things and let Chris be the lead and let Chris approve things and let Chris take control in order for Chris to work with him. Is that what's going on here? Because that's how I'm taking it. Just based off the way he's talking and the way he's saying things, I'm taking it as in, because from what we're hearing about the confrontation at the vigil is that it started out as a loud argument type of confrontation, and then they talked briefly and then they left. Then Chris left. Okay. Was there really a confrontation? Did they get into an argument at that vigil? I don't know. I haven't seen proof either way of it being just he was there to help him start his car. I don't see a picture of him working on the vehicle. I see Chris inches away from Seth's face in a posture that looked almost threatening or overpowering or whatever. And Seth kind of backed into the corner against the truck, right? Like a submissive stance versus a not submissive stance, right? An aggressive versus submissive. That's what I seen looking at that photo. And then we hear that there was possibly, swearing and yelling and different things like that happened. And then Chris left. Okay. Then Seth comes and he's like, hey, we're working together now. F everybody who doesn't want us to work together, F everybody who doesn't want us to be there together. We're doing what we have to do to find my kid. And I could totally see him putting things to the side and trying his hardest to make this relationship work in a way. But at the same time, he's not. Like I said, he went the next morning on with Peter Hyatt. He went the next morning on with Pascal. He's now on with Vinny. And he knows that we are going to analyze everything that he says. We've been doing it this entire time. And then he's going to say stuff like Chris has to approve. I mean, the internet's going to go crazy. Crazy hearing that Chris, once again, has to be in control in order to look for Sebastian. That's how I'm taking this. And I haven't read any of your comments yet, so let me scroll down because I'm curious if you guys are feeling the same way that I am. He approached the vigil. Yeah, he was approached at the vigil that him and Katie didn't stand for. I know, cheese and rice, right? Yeah, trying to figure out if Seth has finally got his stuff together or lost it altogether. Right. It sounds cryptic, right? Sounded sarcastic. I agree. So that's what I'm wondering, Emmy Joe. So he does mention that he has dogs. He mentions all of this stuff soon. And I'm thinking the same thing that you're thinking. He wants to bring cadaver dogs into the house and needs approval to do it. He wants them to come search the Proudfoot's properties, maybe extended family, maybe Chris and Katie's house, their property surrounding, maybe the grandma's house where the glasses were or weren't found that weren't Sebastian's, you know, all of the things. I agree with this 100%. I think he wants cadaver dogs at their properties and he needs their approval. Right. Law enforcement won't bring cadaver dogs into the house, so he can do it privately, but he needs Chris and Katie, who owns the house, so he needs their consent. Yeah, sounds controlling. Yep. You think it's because he's making that up? Maybe. This isn't a bash against anyone, but if it was my son, I promise I would be doing the communication with son's dad, not my husband. It doesn't make sense to me either. I hate that he only gets to communicate through Chris. When will Katie just talk to him? Listen, I don't care how failed your relationship was in the past. I don't care. Whenever you are in a situation where your child is missing, whatever the reason for your divorce is, whatever happened in your relationship, 1,000,000% you better put your child first and grow up and get over it, right? Put on your big girl panties and talk to your ex-husband. I just can't. Email can be shared quickly versus sending text messages. It's possible the bomb is a mess and the husband is trying to lessen the stress load. Sure, I guess it's possible, but we're 2 months in, right? 2 months in, it's gonna get worse and worse and worse as time goes on, and if these are decisions that can help find your kid, somebody has obviously made it clear to Seth that the only way to get to Chris to cooperate, yes, is to pander to his ego. It's just reality. 1,000,000% skinny. I'm going to guess there isn't good communication since it wasn't even 24 hours and mud was flung. Right. If Seth wants things or answers from Chris and Katie, he needs to remain silent when it comes to them on national social media. I agree with this. He has to stop bringing them up. But here's the problem. Every single time that he does these interviews, people are going to ask him about Chris and Katie. They're going to continue to bring Chris and Katie up. And so he can either come on and say, I can't answer those questions, or not come on at all. Right. And I don't like the idea of him not coming on at all, just personally, because the less that he talks, the less people will talk about Sebastian. That's just the reality. We will slowly move on to other cases and Sebastian will fade into the background. It happens with every single case. Chris asks Seth to drop his ego. After all his time, Seth is desperate to get the truth any way he can. Yeah, maybe. Hi, Rexy. You used to have to deal more with my ex-husband's new wife than my ex-husband during visitation exchange, anything related to my daughter. That's sad. That is sad. You think that Seth is showing alliance with Chris, encouraging him to turn against Katie? Maybe. If Seth is bringing dogs in and they go to the Proudfoot house, he doesn't need a warrant if they say yes. Hi, Angela. He may also want the clothes that Sebastian wore to the restaurant too, and the shoes. I'm wondering if police have that, like if they have that evidence. You think that Chris wants Seth to take on all of the work, but wants all the control and power. Totally says that Chris feels the need to be in control of the situation. Where in where the heck is Katie in all of this? No, exactly. Where a parent does not have a playbook. He may have been hammered for not going by the rules on the day he waited for permission is an emotional journey and one that has no playbook, right? I think that he's already gotten himself in trouble, at least with the police, for not shutting up. I think that's why the police don't talk to Seth. I've seen that in other cases. I'm gonna rewind a little bit. I've seen that in other cases where the parents have come to social media for help. For example, Dylan Rounds and Candace Cooley, because they were coming to social media for help and to get the investigation jump started and criticizing the police and different things like that, she started to get little to no communication from the officers involved. It wasn't until FBI took over and she got assigned a like a family person that talked to her. Oh gosh, I can't remember the name. But it wasn't until then that she finally started getting some types of communication again. But they still gave her bare minimum because of her activity on social media. They did not want the investigation getting leaked, and it took her months to figure out not to say everything because to be fair, in the beginning of Dylan's case, she had to come onto social media and push the police to react because they would not even investigate his disappearance. They would not even investigate the fact that his shoes were found with blood on them. They would not even take his vehicle into custody and look for any evidence of where it could have been driven and things like that. They would not even search his truck. They wouldn't search his house. They wouldn't search his property. They did nothing to help the criminal investigation into Dylan Rounds until she came to social media and until she pushed the public, um, and used the public to push the police. And so it led to a lot of harsh feelings from the officers to her and a really, really bad stream of communication. But like I said, I have seen this happen in cases like that before. And so Seth coming on here and raising criticisms about different things and pushing for an investigation, a criminal investigation to take place, and really wanting his son to not be forgotten and to be found and things like that, it's going to hurt his relationship with the officers themselves. Imagine being in that position though. He feels in his gut something happened in that house, right? No one will look into it for him. So he is the guilt at the guilty party's mercy. This is one of the reasons why people side with her, because why avoid Seth in such a critical time, right? Have they always communicated this way through Chris, or is this recent? I don't know, Angela. I honestly don't know. It would not shock me if Chris, since they have been together, has been in control of communication, just based off of his personality. You think Seth has a strategy. Make nice, put them in a situation where it's extremely sus if they don't allow it, right? It's a bad sign that convos that Chris is the go-between. Tells me that Chris has a need for control versus encouraging his wife to work this out, right? So Skinny, yes, he went on Peter Hyatt's panel the day after saying that he was now working with Chris and Katie. That they were gonna team up, they were gonna work together and things like that. The next morning, he was on Peter Hyatt's channel while Peter Hyatt was encouraging Katie to unload her burden, telling her, like, she doesn't have to carry the weight of all of this guilt and things like that, and that she needs to basically come clean for what happened on the day that Sebastian went missing. And we watched that last time I went live. I think it was yesterday, maybe the day before. It was the day before. Um, we discussed that detail in depth, or that video in depth, and kind of talked about Seth and the different things that Seth said, because Seth basically agreed with Peter saying that he thinks that Katie's holding something back and basically lying too. It was the next morning. I agree. Yeah, Sebastian is more important than the old drama between him and Katie. I think that I want him to keep talking about Sebastian only. Hi, Music City Mom. The problem is it's hard because he wasn't there that day. He doesn't know the details of what happened that weekend. He doesn't know the details of what came up, um, in the events leading up to Sebastian's disappearance. He doesn't know if Sebastian was exhausted or overstrung that day or, you know, anything. He doesn't know. Hi, chicken lady. Yeah, it is. It is crazy, this whole case. You think that Seth is constantly contacting law enforcement with unrealistic leads that he hears off the internet and have no credibility, and then he gets mad when they don't do what he wants. Wouldn't you, though, want every single thing that you hear about investigated? Wouldn't you want every single potential anything to be investigated? Yeah, it's a big point as to why he has tried to get his own cadaver dogs now, tried to get his own private investigators, tried to get his own resources. He's been reaching out to different search agencies and things like that because he wants everything looked at. Every single thing that he can think of, he wants investigated or that the internet can think of. And I don't blame him. I would want every single stone turned also. But here's the issue in cases like this, because the police are not just investigating Sebastian's disappearance. They are investigating Sebastian's disappearance as well as how many other hundreds of kids, as well as how many other crimes that have taken place in Tennessee throughout this time period, as well as, right? So Sebastian is not necessarily TBI's main priority. It's not necessarily Sumner County's main priority. They have other priorities. Whereas this is his only focus, the only thing that he's thinking about. So to him, every resource, every single thing that they have should be thrown at this 24/7 a day until Sebastian is found, not one search a month. And I understand that. As a parent, that's what I would want too. Yes, Hyatt is sure. He is possible. He is like 100% positive that Katie had something to do with this. And that's what I mean. So like he sat on that panel knowing exactly where Hyatt was going. That to me does not say unity. Yeah, it will. It'll stop. It'll stop again. Why is he waiting on Chris? Right. This is about Sebastian. Yep. I think when something like this happens, you realize what battles are important and which ones are a waste of time and energy. I agree with that. I'm sure every time that there's any type of tragedy in your life, that it really just makes you reflect on everything. I agree. I would not be able to have time pass. Not even for a second, Emmy jail. There's no way. How do you just sit by and watch them not investigate? Like, if especially okay, so especially him being wanting to know everything and then oversharing with us every detail because he thinks it's gonna help and he thinks it's gonna help people look for Sebastian, right? But police are saying, "Hey, don't say anything else because we can't talk to you if you're gonna keep saying stuff." But then he's watching whenever he gets quiet that the internet slowly died away from Sebastian's case, right? Think about it. Just this past what was it? A week ago? Just this past week, Sebastian was no longer the hit case. Sebastian was no longer the important case on YouTube as of last week. And so think about it though. Seth was quiet for like 3 or 4 days. We didn't see him do an interview. We didn't see him talk about Sebastian anywhere. He was nowhere. He went into a couple chats about Sebastian, but he didn't jump on panel anywhere for 3 or 4 days. YouTube took an entire spin away from Sebastian as soon as he was quiet. As soon as he was quiet, we started looking at the missing murder moms in Kansas. As soon as he was quiet, people started talking about other cases. And that's just the reality, because as soon as there's nothing new for us to pick apart, there's no new words for us to sit here and talk about to bring Sebastian's name up. As soon as it all goes away, people switched over to drama. We watched hate streams take place, creator bashing creator, all of that stuff. And none of it was about Sebastian. And all of that had been quiet. Everybody was focused on Sebastian. And just him being quiet for 4 days led to Sebastian not being the front runner on YouTube. That's all it took. And so he tries to be quiet so that TBI can talk to him, so that the law enforcement can talk to him, but then social media loses public interest. And with there not being any real updates or leads from TBI, in my opinion, he at that point was like, well, I got to keep doing this social media thing so that people keep helping me look for my son. That's just my opinion. I don't know if that's actually what's going through his head, but that's what would go through my head, watching other cases take over the internet, and it's not my kid anymore, and now there's no awareness for my kid. I would totally come back to the internet. But then you don't get that communication from police. Yep, 7 weeks, it'll mark 3 years since Summerwell's been missing. That's crazy. Hi, B Tim. Right. And so you can't just sit back and let nobody talk about your kid, in my opinion. Right. Karen Reed trial. That's the other thing. People have moved on to the Karen Reed trial. They moved on to Karen Reed. They moved on to the Kansas moms, and Sebastian was back burner. So that's just my opinion about what I think happened that made him be like, okay, I got to go back to the internet. Got to keep doing interviews. Got to keep talking about it because I want my kid to be seen every day until he's found.
My ego is not enough to stop me from accepting help to try to find my son.
And how is that developed? Is the help there from Chris and Katie?
I've been sending Chris and Katie emails for things that I already have in the works. I'm currently waiting on Chris to approve what I've sent to him. If he doesn't approve it, then,
What type of things are we talking about?
I've got a canine handler that is extremely overqualified, has several different background clearances, classifications. Their dogs are everything from cadaver to narcotics to live tracking, bomb sniffing. The dogs are exquisitely trained. I've got them to come in to see if we can actually find anything that maybe Sumner County Sheriff's Office wasn't able to get. I've got a couple different organizations that are search and rescue qualified that are 501c out of Texas. I've actually spoken to an individual who wants to be our spokesperson for all three of us, so that way there's no quote unquote mudslinging or anything like that that will speak for us as a unified front.
So here's my question though. Do you think if they had a spokesperson, a unified spokesperson for the three of them, do you think that would be effective? I wish that they could just all three go on a panel somewhere together or on a news program somewhere together, or even stand at a vigil together. That to me would say more about unity than a spokesperson, in my opinion. Yep. He's got them to come in. He wants to search the house. I think so too. Probably the house, probably the family's properties. Right. I agree. I don't see it as drama. We don't know Sebastian, so we all have to really discuss is what the parents are telling us. This is what's connecting us to the cases, these parents, you guys. I'm going to tell you right now. I have covered so many kids, so many missing children that their parents, their families, nobody speaks out for them, and I get no views on those videos. Period. People do not care about random missing flyers. And I hate to say that, and I'm sure that there are some of you guys in here that would disagree, like, "No, I read every single flyer, and I share every single flyer, and I genuinely take time to stop and pray for every single child that's missing." And if you say that, I'm gonna tell you right now, I think you're a liar, because you don't. You might share the flyer or retweet it or put it up on your Facebook or whatever, but do you actually take the time to focus on that missing child? Do you actually take the time for all 600,000 missing children out there to read every single one of their photos, their flyer information, memorize their facial expressions, memorize how they look, pray for that child, share their face, share their name, and pray, pray, pray that they're going to be found? You don't. And if you claim that you do, you're a liar. You're a virtue signaling liar because you don't. It's impossible. We connect to the cases where the families make us see who these children are, where the families make us care about these missing kids by coming to social media, by making us connect emotionally with that child and with that family so that we can either root for or against the family. That's just the harsh reality of it. And even if you're rooting against the family, guess what? It's still spreading the child's face. Right? And so I'm not going to sit here and tell you who you need to agree with, who you need to back, which side of the family there is, which side of the family is right, which side of the family is wrong. I don't care. I don't care about any of that because you know why? We have no evidence to say who's innocent or guilty at all in this case. Period. We have no evidence that tells us who is the suspect or who is not the suspect in this case. And so everything outside of that is literally reading what our perception of what they are saying is, looking at what our perception of what we believe the evidence to be, looking at our perception and our personal opinions about the case and how things have gone down. Statistically, it's either the parents or the family that killed him. Statistically, if he's deceased. Statistically. Is it reality in every case? No. There are thousands of kids who come home safe every single day. There are thousands of teenagers who run away every single day. He could literally have been lured out. He could have literally gone out into the woods for God only knows what reason. Maybe he ran out of the house angry at Katie and went to go cool off somewhere in the woods and got stuck in a ditch. Right? We have no freaking clue what happened. And so any type of speculation about this case is just that, it's speculation. As much as I think that he's alive and has the ability to come home, because I think that he had more internet communication with somebody than what his parents thought he did, and he left his home that day. That's my opinion of the case. Do I have any evidentiary value behind my opinion? No. Zero. Zero facts, zero information that give me that opinion. Does it make it wrong to feel that way or to hope that way? Absolutely not. Just like with no evidence to be able to say Chris or Katie did something or Seth did something or the Proudfoots took him to Alaska or whatever. There's no evidence on any of that. All we have is our thoughts and feelings. That's it. That's all we have. And so honestly, any type of searches, any type of information that's out there that can be brought out there, any type of people who are going to go out there and look for him, I'm good with it. Spread his name, share his flyer, get his face out there, keep talking about Sebastian. He's somewhere. He needs found. Period. Yeah, stop trying to control the narrative. Whichever side you're on, it doesn't matter. You're not any more right than I am. Saying that Chris and Katie are innocent and Seth is guilty of something because he collected money or because he got inconclusive on his polygraph test or whatever you want to throw dirt at Seth for, you are no more right than the people who are saying that Katie probably did something like Peter Hyatt, analyzing her statements, saying that she has to be guilty and that there's something missing in this story that led to Sebastian disappearing. That's his opinion, right? It's a bunch of opinions, and you can't be like, my opinion is more right than your opinion. Based off of what? Based off of what? Right now, we know nothing. We know absolutely nothing. Ugh. Yeah, that's why you stopped doing true crime. You did a lot of research into cold cases that didn't get a lot of attention. It's sad. Everyone is into new cases that have drama in it, right? You have to have a, oh God, Marie Davis. I'm sorry, I just completely got sidetracked. I did not even think of that. Oh Lord, I hope not. Dear Seth Rogers, if your spokesperson has the initials TM, just say no. Just say no. Don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah, I would say most go back and forth. If they're not all three together, then obviously Seth isn't telling the truth. If they agreed to work with him, they would have spoke out by now. Start questioning the information Seth is saying. Maybe you can feel like that, but maybe it was more like a, hey, yeah, you know what? I'll stop intentionally throwing mud at you guys if you guys start approving things like my search dogs to come in. Yeah, there's more virtue signaling than drama. Kim Holmes, because that's the way speculation works. Are you not familiar with true crime? You either think the family is innocent or you think the family is guilty. The child did not just vanish into thin air. Something happened to him. In most true crime cases, it ends up being something nefarious. That's how they become true crime. If you can find a way to spread missing children without the drama, by all means, start a channel and do it. But I'm telling you, for years, I have covered random flyers and random cases, and no one looks. Yeah, please not TM. Peter never said Katie hurt Sebastian, right? He said that she withheld info that could pertain to where Sebastian is. You're going to the vigil thing tomorrow for Sebastian. Please do so, Music City Mom. Just honest to goodness. And that's not, I mean, oh gosh. It just let him know the background surrounding that whole situation. You wanna know if they ever took a cadaver dog into the house? I don't believe so. Yeah, it's not possible. It's not possible. It's not just YouTube, it's social media in general. Social media in general. Reddit, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of the cases. It's a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword. If you stay quiet in a missing persons case, and there's no one out speaking about your child, and there's no immediate sign of foul play in your case, this is what happens to your kid. I'm gonna show you. Let me show you what happens to your kid. Just pick a random state. Right here. Here you go. Here's California. This is what happens whenever you don't have people come to social media and speak out about your child. Whenever your family stays quiet and nobody comes to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, nobody comes out and speaks out for the missing child, nobody cares, and they become just a flyer sitting on a database. This is California. There's 619 children currently missing in California. How many of them have you heard of? How many of these children have you shared their flyers or searched for or prayed for their families? I'll wait. Tell me if you guys see a name that you recognize. We're just to March. It's a double-edged sword. You come to social media, you get the hate, you get the backlash, you get the suspicions, the the sleuthing happens into your life. Every aspect of your life gets analyzed, put on a platform, and reviewed. But your child gets seen. Should it take that for your child to be seen? No, absolutely not. It's horrifying that people have to subject themselves to this to get the vast majority of the public to care about their missing child. Every single one of these children, every single one of these children have a family. Every single one of them have loved ones that are likely wondering, hey, where are you at? Maybe some of them are from foster care. I guess I shouldn't say every single one of them have a family. I'm sure a lot of these kids are from foster care and don't have not one single person that has ever raised awareness or cared about them in their life, because that's the reality of our system too. Foster care loses over 200,000 children a year. Did you know that? A year. I think it's actually closer to 250,000 on the last data. Just vanish from foster care. Vanish from the system. But never mind that. Let's talk about the other 400,000 that have families that have never once posted a missing flyer for their child, or have never once utilized social media via interviews, via Twitter, Instagram. How many of these kids have you heard of? Did anybody say any of them? Curious. They deserve equal attention, exactly. But in order to share their stories, we have to have a story to share. Most of these kids, most of them, I can guarantee you, is probably one sentence or less on their flyers. Most of them barely have, look, this is what we get. Missing since April 3rd of 2023. So he's been gone for a year. Savannah, sorry, she. 17 years old. Both photos are shown of Savannah. Child was last seen on April 3rd, 2023. Doing what? Where'd she go missing from? What happened? What are the circumstances of her disappearance? Do we know? Do we care? It's a double-edged sword. But we have to know their stories to be able to share their stories, to be able to care about this child, to connect with them, to emotionally put ourselves into it, to actually pray for their children more than just saying, "Dear Lord, please protect the missing children of the world." Right? You can want true crime off of YouTube all you want. You can want to try to control people's thought processes and control the discussion and things like that. But what you end up doing is the 12 to 15 to 20, 25 kids that get covered mainstream on YouTube. All that does is take away that percentage of getting covered. Whether you agree with how it's getting covered or not, it doesn't matter. Their faces are being seen. People are praying for these kids. That's just where I am with it, right? Because I've tried. I've tried to go the other way. I've tried to only cover cases that were not well known. Now I'm to the point where, okay, I guess I need to cover some of these cases that are more well known, that are getting clicks, that are getting views, so that I can build my channel to a point where maybe then I can start the wave of attention for a kid who may not have been seen. Maybe then we can start a wave of attention towards some of these other kids. We're shocked at the kids that go missing from Nashville you never heard of. Now you go and look often. One missing, oh man, from your niece's apartment building. That's crazy. We got to keep pushing. We got to keep growing. We got to keep pushing so that we can sway the tide that way and put more faces out there that way, right? But that's where we are. It sucks. It sucks. Nobody wants to watch families go through this. Nobody. But at the same time, I understand the families who choose to come to this platform and get that criticism because they want their kid to be seen. They want their child to be looked for. So, keep that in mind whenever people are criticizing, like, oh my God, I can't believe Seth is doing like his 35th interview. Good. Good. He's doing his 35th interview because the weekend that he took a break, every single person moved on to Karen Reed in the missing moms. Everybody. And did the missing moms deserve the attention? Absolutely. That was a horrifying situation. And I can't believe like half a dang town is getting arrested for it. Seriously, they have like this whole little cult that's like getting arrested that were behind the murder of these two women that just did not deserve what they went through. But I understand where Seth is coming from to where, okay, I went quiet for a week. People stopped talking about Sebastian. Here I am. I'm back. I'm going to talk every single day, every day, every day, every day, every day.
I think that's a great development. I think that's
all this stuff that I've been working on, and I've sent it to him. I'm just waiting on him to get back with me and be on the same plan with me to find Sebastian.
Now, I also saw Katie spoke on a program over the weekend, and one thing that stuck out to me, she said she's getting daily updates from law enforcement. Are you getting daily updates from law enforcement?
No, sir.
And is there a reason? Are they not communicate? They don't want to communicate with you, or is there?
They are communicating with my private investigators. That way, there is no longer me having to take time out of my day while I'm sitting there searching, trying to gather resources, and planning on the next action to take. My private investigators are speaking with them.
And how many PIs do you have on the case?
Currently, I have 2.
And I'm hearing you talk about private investigators, search teams, canines trained. Is this something that is going to have to be financed some way?
I'm using the GoFundMe. I've been using everything that's coming in so that I can finance what I can.
And at this point, because it's been 2 months, do you feel like the support is still out there from the public? Is it dying down at all? Because we don't want it to die down.
Sebastian's army is strong. People want my son found. And every day I wake up, God has made sure that I have woken up. My goal is to find my son, and he knows it.
Seth, appreciate you coming on tonight. I know you're extremely busy, but I wanted to make sure everyone knew about Light the Path for Sebastian on the 26th. It's going to be a big crowd. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and our thoughts are with you.
I am currently working on another vigil as well. I should know soon if I'll be able to have it.
Thanks. Thanks so much, Seth.
I'm not sure what's happening, honestly, because it looks like YouTube itself is timing you out. Not even timing you out, like, they're putting you on, like, 3-second timeouts. Like, I've never even seen I don't know what's happening, but I can see all your comments on my end. I'm just not sure. I'm not honestly sure what is going on. As far as, like, my moderation activity, though, like, none of my mods are doing anything. It's just, like, everything just posts and then deletes. Post and then deletes. It's weird. Hi, Pointer Lover. Yeah, when people don't care about their own children, there's no one there to tell their stories, sadly. Sad. Very sad. That happened to be last week too. You thought B was deleting their own comments. Yeah, nobody here has timed you out or done anything. I'm not sure what the heck is going on. I can see everything on StreamYard. YouTube does it for reported comments. So somebody in here is reporting B's comments. Is that what you're saying? I don't know why. B's not even saying anything bad. Yeah, who are the perpetrators? How are there so many missing parents? Praying for action to be taken to find them, prevent more from yeah. Like, nothing is even bad. So if you're reporting B's comments, stop. I mean, that's just silly. Seems like YouTube has flagged B for something. Yeah, maybe because your name is just B. And they're like, let it be, let it be. I don't know. Susan, good morning. Yeah, it doesn't have to be on this channel, right? Good morning, Susan. Okay. Where's my brain at? So I don't know. So that's pretty much everything that happened with Sebastian. Like I said, I find it weird. The only thing that the permission to me, it sounds like it has to do with the dogs, whether it's going to their house, to the family's house, to wherever it is, having the search dogs go out sounds like he's waiting for approval for that. Hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully they can all figure this out though. I don't know if a spokesperson coming out and speaking for them is going to help any more so the unity. I don't see how it's going to make a difference. I really just don't. The only way that people are going to get that perception that there is unity is if they actually literally get up and stand together at a vigil, stand together somewhere, show a united front that way. So you pray more people cover it. Her mom wants her name out there. Are you talking about Sade Robinson? Wow, that's freaking disgusting. I haven't even actually looked into this one very much. I know that you guys have been talking about it. This is the first article that pops up as soon as you search her name. It says alleged killer of student Sade Robinson had sex dungeon in his basement with sling, restraints, and handcuffs. The sicko accused of killing and dismembering 19-year-old college student Sadie Robinson had a dungeon in his basement of his Milwaukee home. Authorities found blood smeared on the bed and the walls of the staircase leading to the creepy cellar. Wow. Disturbingly, oh, this is horrible. The blood found at the residence is not from Robinson. Who else did he have in this disgusting basement? That screams more victims. That's horrible. In the basement, the creep had a sling, restraints, and handcuffs. Although the basement has small windows, a neighbor told the Post they were covered up so no one could see inside. That's Sadie. She disappeared after going on a first date with Anderson. There were some sort of blind, says Allie, who often walks her dog along the streets of the normally quiet, tree-lined middle-class neighborhood. It never crossed my mind that there could be something like that in there. It's just sick, depraved, and I can't stop thinking about it. Anderson, age 33, has been charged with murder, arson, and mutilation of a corpse. He pled not guilty on Monday. Authorities say Anderson killed, then dismembered 19-year-old Sadie Robinson after their first date on April 1st. That's wow. Surveillance video shows Anderson and Robinson having seemingly good time at a restaurant and a bar. She was never seen again. That is freaking nuts, and look how close together the house is. They executed a search warrant on April 4th, found the blood on the bedding in the walls leading to the basement. Several gas containers were located in the garage and storage area. Sorry, I'm, like, reacting to this because 'cause I'm just reading this. While Robinson's blood has been ruled out, it's unclear if the sample could match Anderson's DNA. Oh, could the blood be his? I don't know. That's crazy. How do you just decide to do this one day? See, anytime I see stuff like this, like we covered the Timothy Haslett case. Timothy Haslett had a woman in his basement who escaped his basement, which I need to put those videos back up. If anybody is wondering why my videos are down, by the way, it's because I need to go through and update the copyrights on all of them. I had them so that reuse was allowed. I am changing that because people have tried to drag me into their drama. And so I am updating all of my videos so that whenever you guys try to clip me to start drama, I can just copyright strike you. But until then, I put everything private until I can go through and edit because it's time consuming as heck to go through and edit everything. But I'm going to make it a point to go through and do the Timothy Haslett videos because he reminds me of this. He also had a dungeon built into his basement and was assaulting women in his basement. And the girl escaped from his house and went to the neighbor's house and begged for help. And while she was begging for help, she said that her friend had not made it. Later on, they ended up finding the lady that she was talking about's remains in a blue barrel located in a different in like a body of water months later. And one of the things that they had taken out of Timothy Haslett's basement was, oh gosh, I want to say like 13 or 14 blue barrels, probably for victims that he was intending to have. I mean, you don't just set up a dungeon and go to the extent of unaliving and uh and dismembering people and different things like that to just do it one time. You know, they say that there are serial killers in every I guess there's what, 50 active throughout the United States at any given time, according to the FBI. But anyway, so this is horrible. My heart goes out to her family because wow. I'm glad though that they found all of this quickly, right? Because they did a welfare check on her home on April 3rd, found no trace of her. Later in the day, they found her sawed off leg. Oh my God, in the shores of Lake Michigan. What the heck? Other body parts have been found in various locations around Milwaukee. Some of her remains have yet to be recovered. Oh my God. And it makes you wonder, has he used that area to get rid of people before? Or is that a first time thing and that's why she's being found? That's heartbreaking. Her poor family. Wow, wow, wow. Sade, thank you so much. I just now read your comments. Her mama said he's a 2024 Dahmer. Ugh. Sorry, I'm just now scrolling through here. He's the son of a multimillionaire businessman. Of course he is. Why wouldn't he be the son of a multimillionaire? Because, you know, whenever you have money, you can just do whatever the heck you want, including making dungeons in your basement, right? I guess that's just the perception. That's freaking horrible, Sade. Thank you so much. Sorry. I apologize. Yeah, please send it to me, please. This is something we can definitely cover. Haslett is 30 minutes from you. Ugh. Yeah, I'm glad she got away too. Right, statistically, he started several years ago. So it makes you wanna think, like, how many other missing women or teens even, runaways or whatever, are in this area. There was a teenager missing right down the road from me, and you had no idea for 3 months. Media in general needs to be better about reporting these cases, I agree. Phew. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. It indicates the preliminary DNA analysis supports the conclusion there is no support for inclusion of Robinson's DNA or any blood swabs that have been tested in some of these. Her DNA has been excluded. According to the complaint, authorities have much more evidence against Anderson, including phone records, surveillance videos, which place him in the locations where her remains were dumped. So, what he spread them in multiple locations. Oh, that's so disgusting. They also interviewed a witness who allegedly spotted Anderson as he set fire to her Honda Civic on the street corner near. How did he think he was going to get away with this? Like he just, like, took her car and set it on fire too? Like, did you really think that was going to not be found or not lead to you after they have you on camera on a date? What an idiot. The remains of the clothing matched the outfit that she wore on the date and were found scorched inside the vehicle. Robinson, who is studying criminal justice at the Milwaukee Area Technical College, agreed to the first date with Anderson and told an employee at her apartment building she was excited to go out with him. As authorities continue to piece together the last hours of Robinson's life, Anderson's father issued a statement of condolence to her family. On behalf of myself and my family, I would like to express our deepest sympathy and heartfelt condolences to the family and loved ones of Sade Robinson. Stephen Anderson wrote in a statement, "We are shocked and devastated by her senseless death. But Robinson's family is grappling with their anger and confusion." Here's my question. How do you not know? I mean, and I know that we see serial killers that their families are completely baffled and clueless. But at the same time, like, I feel like there always has to be like that gut feeling that like something's just not right with this guy, right? It always baffles me whenever the families are completely just shocked. Like, there had to be some type of sign that dude was off his rocker. To go to this extent, like, I don't know. You don't hide. Yes, we all have our what does Chris McDonough call it? Like, our secret life and our secret, but to do all this, like, this is all in your secret closet? Oh my gosh. This poor girl. She's so beautiful, and her poor family. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Robinson's mother called Anderson a sick SOB. I can't blame her. After he was charged. Who the F would do something like this to my beautiful baby? She hurt nobody. She harmed nobody. Anderson's being held on a $5 million bond. He's due back in the county court on May 16th. Here's my next question, I guess, too. Like, I know his father issued like a statement of apology, and obviously they haven't paid his bond. Knowing that he's a multimillionaire, he probably could have, or made some type of arrangements. Are they going to end up paying for his lawyers though? Because could you issue a statement of apology and then pay for good lawyers for somebody who does something like this? I really hope not. I really hope that they do not support the defense in this case and they let him just kinda, freaking get public defenders and get put away for what he did. That's disgusting. That's absolutely horrific. Yeah, how does he even have a bond, though? Sade's mom also said she sent her a text asking her moms for $15 via Cash App. She made more money, so what, was it maybe him wanting. Ugh, I don't know. You finally got a Safe Haven baby box in Hendersonville, that's awesome. I love Safe Haven baby boxes. That is something. Oh, Nightbot dropped it, that's what brought that up. That is something we will continuously support on this channel because Safe Haven baby boxes are amazing, amazing things. Last week you ran into an odd situation, at least I hope it's an odd as unusual, a child listed as a missing who, according to detectives working the case, is home and safe and had been found. Sometimes it takes them Sometimes it takes them time to update the registries. Yeah, privileged. He believes he's beyond reproach. I agree. Hi, Kiki's eyes. Hmm. I think what we'll do is a whole live on her at a later time and look through this probable cause affidavit because I do still want to talk about Stephan Stearns and Madeline Soto. Yes, the list case. That's something we've talked about too. Let's see here. So here is this press conference from yesterday. I'm going to automatically audio boost it because I know that the audio is low. And I want to encourage you guys, if you need to, closed captions are available as per usual if you need to turn them on. So here's this. Let's watch this press conference.
Just a little bit, sorry. All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming. Today, the Kissimmee Police Chief and myself are here to provide an update on the death investigation on 13-year-old Madeline Soto, who was reported missing back on February 26th of this year and discovered dead 4 days later. I know the community and the media have been anxious for us to give an update on this case, and this is an opportunity for us to do that. For the last 7 weeks, 7.5 weeks actually, the Kissimmee Police Department and my office have been working closely to go over every piece of evidence that we could gather in this case. It was a voluminous and a lot of evidence to get through during that time, but we were successful in getting through it and making sure that we were able to provide the best case we could. Today, we're announcing that Stephan Stearns has been indicted by the grand jury on first-degree murder for the killing of Madeline Soto. We presented the case to the grand jury. They returned an indictment earlier today. There has been some questions as related to the length of investigation. I just want to let you know again that my office and the Kissimmee Police Department have been working vigilantly in making sure that we had every opportunity to get every piece of evidence that we could. I want to thank the Kissimmee Police Department and their tireless efforts. They've done an amazing job in the heavy lift that we've asked them to do, as well as the prosecutors that have been assigned to this case and making sure that we got every piece of evidence reviewed and gathered in this case. While death investigations usually take around 5 to 6 weeks or longer, we were able to get this one done relatively quickly and get the case to the front of the grand jury, like I said earlier today, to return the indictment against Mr. Stephan Stearns. The death penalty in this case, we have not decided to what decision we're going to make in that case. We're going to continue those discussions going forward, and we'll let you know again when we make that decision as to whether we're going to seek the death penalty in this case. I want to thank the grand jury for their hard work and their efforts in making sure that we're making this first step in seeking justice for Madeline Soto, for her family, and so the community can have closure in this case. The defendant will appear at initial appearances, I believe probably the next day or two. Then the case will proceed down its normal path, and we'll try to keep you abreast of how the case is moving, as well as you probably ask us questions to make sure that we are providing that proper information to keep you abreast of how the case is going down the normal path of the criminal justice system. I'd like now to introduce Chief of Police Betty Holland, and for her to provide comment.
Thank you, State Attorney Mr. Bain. Good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank the investigators and the other agencies that assisted us in uncovering the evidence to move forward with this case. We know this case has gained significant public attention because Madeline had just celebrated her 13th birthday and was just a child. The evidence shows an individual that was entrusted to keep Madeline safe made calculated moves to dispose Madeline's belongings and place her body in a wooded area before she was ever reported missing. For the 4 days following her disappearance, the entire community was actively looking to find Madeline safe and alive. Tragically, on March 1st, Madeline's remains were found. Our detectives have worked tirelessly to piece together the events leading up to Madeline's disappearance and death. With the collaboration of the state's attorney's office, we prepared the case for the grand jury that was heard today. The grand jury determined that our department secured enough evidence to obtain a first-degree murder indictment. We appreciate each grand jury member for their careful consideration. We want to thank the diligent work of the state's attorney's office, the medical examiner's office, and our other law enforcement partners who assisted with this investigation. Your expertise and dedication were instrumental in uncovering the truth. The indictment signifies a crucial step forward in our quest for justice and a testament to our commitment to honoring Madeline's memory. We will now take questions. Right, I'm going to defer to the state's attorney.
Good afternoon. Although an indictment has been returned this afternoon, it is still an open and ongoing criminal investigation. So much of this information cannot be disclosed until Mr. Stern's attorney, if he does so, elects to participate in discovery, and then all of you in the media know how to go about seeking information through public records.
Not that we've uncovered. State attorney?
Again, all questions about the facts of the case are not subject to disclosure because of public records laws at this time. Once his attorney participates in discovery, then you can make public records requests through your normal channels as you do in other cases. At this time, the only person being charged is Stephan Stearns. And again, this is not over. There is an ongoing investigation to uncover more evidence, and therefore we can't comment.
I'm going to pause right there for a second because they're still looking into other people. Whether that's Jen, whether that's people who could have possibly received photos of her, whatever. It's still ongoing. But it really makes me raise my eyebrows because they are not going to release that much. It'll be interesting. Yeah, pause that.
Stearns. And again, this is not over. There is an ongoing investigation to uncover more evidence, and therefore we can't comment. There's going to be the same response on any question about the facts of the case. Through the facts of the case.
So with any death case that is reviewed by my office, when it's determined to be a homicide, we have to look at the statutory aggravating factors that are laid out in our Florida law. Once we've determined that we have sufficient evidence to prove those factors to the proper evidentiary standard, then we had to have to talk about whether this is a death penalty case. And that's a discussion that we're still going to be having for the next couple of weeks to make sure that we're making a legal decision that's appropriate in this case. I'll leave that for Mr. Will.
Cannot comment on whether Mr. Stearns has been doing anything. He has counsel. And as far as plea offers, no, there are no plea offers made on the open case. You can address that question with the indictment that should be on the clerk's website if it's not already.
I'm going to have to defer to the state's attorney.
Again, any question about the facts of the case, it's going to be the same answer. Once his attorney participates in discovery, the public records laws change, and you all will be able to get a lot of that information. As far as the 60 counts that are already filed against Mr. Stearns, that is solely involving Mr. Stearns as a defendant. Not to those 60 charges.
Oh, sorry. It's the family working with the investigation. It's the family working with the investigation.
It's an ongoing investigation. Can't comment on who's working with us.
So is the family working with you for the investigation? And he says it's an ongoing investigation and can't comment who's working with us. So he said no plea deal. I'm not sure. I didn't hear him say open plea. Maybe I missed that while I was like, I don't know, trying to hear the questions, but so here's my thought. Like, I'm not even gonna play the last 40 seconds because they just keep saying the same thing. Um, I was thinking about Stephan's interview that he did where he's like sitting there crying, and mom's comforting him. Do you know what I'm talking about? I'm sure you guys all know what I'm talking about. And it kind of dawned on me because mom and him were on and off again. They weren't like in a steady relationship. She was letting him still live there, but sometimes they were together, sometimes they weren't, and that's just kind of how their relationship went. And here he is during this interview. Somewhere right in here. And he like gets teary-eyed, he cries, she eventually comes and consoles him. On the other video, you can see her consoling him. And and to me it's like, why'd you kill her? What what exactly led to him killing her? Because his relationship, his disgusting, twisted, abusive, grooming, nasty relationship with Madeline was longer and more consistent than his relationship with Jennifer, based off of what we know. You think that he would be too selfish to share the photos. You're not sure why, but you feel that way. Like, I want to know what the motive was behind this. And like, God, it hurts me to even say this, but like, thank God that like she's not going through this horror anymore. He'll never answer that question. I know. It was premeditated too, law enforcement are claiming. I cannot wait to see the discovery for this case so that hopefully we can get some types of more answers. But here's the reality of this, you guys. This goes on in a lot of households. This happens a lot more than what we think. I don't know. Was she about to say something? Was she starting to like a boy at school? Did she want to break up with him? Like, who knows how their dynamic was? And I hate even saying the words like break up with him because it's not like it was her choice. She was groomed and abused since a young age by this monster. I don't know the motive behind it, but like every time I think about this interview, like it just disgusts me. How sad. Look how sad he looks. 5 years of abuse. I know. Trust me, I would much rather her be freed from this abusive monster in a different way and it not be with her death. Even whenever he was getting arrested, this photos from him coming out of the precinct as they were arresting him. He looks so sad. Like, you're the one who did it, you monster. You're literally the person who caused her death. You are the person who violated her. You are the person who destroyed her life. And I don't know. It's just mind-blowing. And then you have mom. And a lot of people have thrown shade at mom. Because how did you not know? How did you not have any indication that this was happening? How are you just completely clueless? Why were you just letting this monster live with you and your family? And and even if you weren't together, like he was just staying there all the time. He just helped with her care all the time. And it reminds me of Audrey Cunningham and Stephen McDougal. Like, why are you just letting men be around and take care of these children? Like, stop it, you guys. Did she know? I don't know. And police still have not called her innocent. They still have said that the investigation continues. The investigation is ongoing, and they will not talk about who is helping them or not. And if she was not aware, if she was not involved, if she had literally no clue, she's going to beat herself up for this for the rest of her life, for the rest of forever. Because of what? How distant of a parent do you have to be to not know that somebody is being sexually abused in your house for years? Multiple years. He's sad because he got caught once and for all. Maybe. I can force myself to be Sweden all day long, but you got nothing for Jen Soto. It's hard, man. It is so freaking hard. How distant of a parent do you have to be to have no clue? How often was she, working? Was she just at work all the time and just left him there all the time with her? You had no type of trust or bond or relationship with your daughter at all that she would confide in you at all? I don't know. And don't get me wrong, these monsters have a way of swaying children and making them stay quiet and making them never speak up or never say a word, or they are very, very, very good at making kids stay quiet. But dang, like, I just can't. You have to start with what she told police compared to the facts and work backwards with her. I wanna see the paperwork. I wanna see the documents. I wanna understand, because at first she told us that they went together and dropped off Madeline, and then that changed at some point to where he dropped her off. Again, is that her changing her story, or is that just her clarifying the facts in a different way? Is she a grieving mom with no awareness and beating herself up for the rest of her life because she allowed the monster in? I just hope that police are able to investigate and give us these answers sooner. And in the meantime, if this creep shared her photos absolutely with anybody, I hope they figure it out. I hope they figure it out.
Stearns, Stephan Stearns.
All right, so Stephan, you seem very emotional right now. Explain to us.
I dropped her off. Everything looked fine when I drove away. It's the last time we saw her.
What were the conversations that y'all had in the car when you dropped her off?
Not much. She was asleep for most of the way. Told her have a good day at school when she got out. I love her. She said thanks, love you too. That was it.
And so where do you think she could possibly be? I mean, this isn't, as I was told, this isn't normal behavior.
This is not normal behavior. She's not the type that would just run off. We don't know where she could be. We're scared. We just want her home.
Are you, in a sense, blaming yourself?
It's hard not to.
Why?
I dropped her off early. I could have waited longer. She looked okay. She was walking towards the school when I saw her. It was like any other day, so I went on with my day. It's hard not to blame myself.
What has the conversation been with?
It's hard not to blame myself. Well, I bet it would be hard not to blame yourself there, Stephan, considering the fact that you did it. Like, unbelievable. You think Jen is an absentee mother who wanted to hide the fact that she wasn't present in Maddie's life much. And see, this happens a lot, right? This happens so much. Where moms are just working or gone or preoccupied with their lives or whatever, and they leave these men around their babies. Guys, if you're a parent, do not leave random people with your children. Please. Even if it's your boyfriend. How many boyfriends or significant others, I guess I should say significant others, how many times have we seen them be involved in cases? Whether it's Letitia Stauch, Stephan Stearns. How many times do you see them be the one who is, I hate to say, like, trust no one, but trust no one. 8 years old. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry for all of you guys who have gone through this. I am so sorry for each one of you. You're afraid you would break up the family or get in trouble. It's not always the predator who keeps you quiet. Yeah, maybe it could be her own thoughts that kept her quiet. Mm, it's heartbreaking. Encourage open communication with your children. Yeah, I wouldn't even trust family members. It can happen to your children by family members too. And, like, seriously, my husband gets so frustrated with me because I am so paranoid. I'm so paranoid. Like, I helicopter bomb the heck out of my kids. I really do. Like, I'm afraid to send them to school. I'm afraid to send them to my like, we don't even let my mom watch my kids. I don't even let my mom babysit my children. They don't go there overnight. They don't spend the night. We don't do it. I can't. I don't know. We go to dinner sometimes, me and him, and we leave them with, like, his mom or whatever for a few hours, and then, like, by the end of it, I'm, like, having a nervous breakdown because, like, I gotta check on my kids, and maybe that's because I follow too much true crime, and maybe that's because, I don't know, this whole world has just become so corrupt and evil, but it's just I can't help it. I have so much anxiety over these kids. Happens in so many families, and you just never know. You just never freaking know. Jeez, lip lock. Your mom was a waitress. Yeah, she was gone. She was working. She was doing what she thought she had to provide for the family, right? And so, yeah, there are situations that I could see Jen Soto not knowing. She could be in the worst amounts of grief. Just wish police could figure that out sooner because this whole "we're still investigating." I hate hearing that. Yeah, you can tell when your kids are anxious about a math test. You got zero excuses for a mom that allows this to happen. I think if you're talking to your kids, right? If you have that relationship with your children and you have that back and forth, then there's gonna be signs. I don't know. I struggle. I don't know.
Jen, since
She's been a lot stronger than me. She's been holding it together really well, but it just keeps coming in waves. Just the reality keeps hitting. We don't know where she is. We don't know if she's safe. We're just scared. We just want her home.
have you like literally put boots on the ground, went out?
Yeah, I even went out with the cops where I had dropped her off, and we looked all up and down the road, all our communities, and there was nothing helpful. None of the cameras were pointing the street. Nothing, which in 2024 was surprising. The church across the street had some cameras, and they mentioned seeing her waiting around in the parking lot for a while before moving on, and that was it. But it was grainy. It was grainy footage, and not much else.
Because it seems like she walked west, east.
So whenever this finally goes to trial, because it will, I want to know, are they gonna see somebody get out of his car and walk towards the school on this grainy footage? Because if they do, that's an issue. Like, that's a huge issue. I wish we knew that. Yeah, 99% of us saw the signs with Stern. Here's the problem though, Skinny. We follow true crime. And we look for these red flags because we follow the true crime, right? We look for the guilty subject matter in every single case. We're like trained ourselves to do it because of following case after case after case after case, that we could spot a red flag from a million miles away. There's so many of us that are like, well, that's a red flag. As soon as he sat down behind mom in the interview, which it's not this one. As soon as he was on camera sitting behind mom in the interview, I was like, well, he did something. Red flag, right? Soon as. But there's so many people who don't follow true crime, who don't listen to true crime, who don't watch CSI, who don't watch, Law and Order, SVU, or whatever, and they live in this fairy tale land where everything is sunflowers and rainbows, and they think that stuff like this only happens in movies, and that it doesn't exist, and that child trafficking doesn't exist, outside of, the scary things that you hear on movies and things like that, and they just live in this bubble reality that is just, it's just not there, right? And so then whenever something does happen in their life, they're shocked, or in their community. I mean, how many of you guys came to true crime because a crime was committed within your local vicinity or somewhere near you that led you to the internet to start researching and looking into true crime, and that's how you ended up on YouTube? It's because at first you were shocked, or you wanted to follow the crazy or whatever. I think the awareness of how much evil exists in this world, it's not there enough. That's true. In the bushes, there are people who do watch Law and Order SVU and they still don't watch their kids. That's true. You think he's gonna commit suicide? Maybe. Too much of a coward to face what he's done. Yeah, to face people in jail. He's always looking like a puppy that just got in trouble for pooping on the floor. He's too weak for prison, I swear. I think he believes he's cute and pitiful. You started following crime before there was internet. Summer Wells, Tennessee is how you ended up here. I think America's Most Wanted was your first dip into true crime as a kid, and it gave you nightmares, right? A crime on you is what led you to true crime, right? Something that tied you to this community to begin with. My cousin was murdered, and that's kind of what got me started into true crime, right? I started looking more into true crime whenever I was younger, and being obsessed with like different books on serial killers and different types of crime events, true crime novels that were written, and then going from that and into, whenever I was old enough to choose my own television programming, watching all those Law and Orders and different things like that. And then of course whenever Nalani Johnson, who lived not far from me and was found about 15 minutes from my house, whenever she went missing, is what brought me into YouTube and Facebook following true crime. That's what brought me here. Went from Nalani Johnson to the Daybell case following that. And then my sister-in-law called us the one day and let us know that a boy was missing local to her. His little sister was in class with my nephew. And so she asked us for prayers because they were going out on the search for Gannon Stalk. And so that's like how all of this started. Little Joe Clyde Daniels. Wow. You yourself read every Nancy Drew book ever written, right? Best friend disappeared in high school when we were juniors. Wow. Unsolved mysteries. Ugh, yeah. Your first true crime case was the West Memphis 3. Your uncle was a cop that escorted. Wow, that's crazy. Not only am I a victim of multiple crimes, but you grew up with a mom who read every Perry Mason book ever written. You've been into true crime for longer than you can remember. Summer brought you to YouTube. He was fascinated. I never knew until Summer Wells. That's what brought me to live true crime too, actually, on YouTube. I knew that there was recorded videos, but live streams, I actually like digging. Oh my gosh, we dug so much. Me, Bushes, Seal, we dug so much into Summer's case. It's one though that I'll never cover on this platform because of all the crazy. But that was before I started a YouTube channel as well. We dug so much into Summer Wells' case. When Johnny Gosh went missing. Bushes, you are old. You are so old. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I don't know. Let me finish this video. I do have to work in a few minutes, so I'm going to have to get off here, but let me finish this video and watch this full for another couple minutes.
They said in the direction of the school. I'm not sure what that is.
What was the language? Not language verbally, language, body language. When you dropped her off, did she seem happy? Was she like, I'm going to meet my friends?
Happy. She had a happy weekend. She just turned 13. She had a 13th birthday party. She was happy that we were all together here, and she was just very happy. She was a happy kid. She's very sweet. She's a very sweet girl. She brings a lot of joy to us, and we just not knowing.
So the unknown is killing you.
Yeah, it's like our whole world is upside down. Not feeling her presence here is. Sorry. It's hard.
I know you're fine. Don't need to apologize. What do you want our viewers to know when they see this?
She's a sweetheart. She's a very sweet, kind girl. Just please be nice to her. Bring her home if you find her. Tell her that we love her. Wherever she is, I hope she's okay.
I mean, if someone were to come in contact with her and you gave me her diagnoses, would it be easy to approach her without any like agitation or anything?
Yeah. She's a good kid. She's a good kid.
If you can sum up in one complete sentence, waking up, getting ready to drop her off at school, dropping her off at school, to now speaking to me after talking to the police about her being missing for over 24 hours right now. In one complete sentence, what would that be?
A living nightmare. It's a living nightmare. Day started off like any other. I just want to wake up. You just get hit with waves of the reality. Just it's setting in. As soon as it got dark last night, we started falling apart. We knew it wasn't going to come to an end. And now we're going on 24 hours and still nothing. Just conflicting reports here and there. People say they see this or that. None of it's conclusive and none of it's helpful. We just want our baby girl back.
Tom, any questions?
No, I'm good.
Thank you.
Freaking disgusting, man. Yeah, and then he's just gonna bawl your eyes out about it, right? You just wanted her back. Meanwhile, he knew right where she was. Probably sad because he had to delete his pictures. Had to factory reset his phone before he gave it to police. So, I don't know. Hopefully justice will come soon, though. As soon as we get the documents for her case, I will definitely come on and talk about it with you guys and share that information with you. Obviously going to keep following Sebastian. They have that prayer, the light up stream light up moment tomorrow night at 7:30. It's going to be 2 months that Sebastian's been missing. I'm going to also hopefully get the documents for Sadie or Sade, and come on with those at some point. I got to figure out when I can go live again, but I will let you guys know as soon as possible. If not today, then tomorrow morning. So I will talk to you guys all later, and I love you all so much. Thanks for hanging out, and Chica, happy 9 months again. So I will talk to you guys. Bye.